All my life, I've been a global traveler, seeking cultures and traditions that are just as vibrant today as in times past. We're opening doors, stepping into worlds most never see, because that's where the best stories are, behind closed doors. We're sharing stories of local life and the working world, plus spending time with some of the most interesting people you'd ever want to meet. It's truly privileged access that always leaves me excited to explore more. Centuries ago, amid the rugged nature of Norway, the Viking Age was born. And as it flourished, exploration became a Norwegian tradition. Today, the ships of Viking follow in their wake, sailing from our Norwegian home port, Bergen. Built for discovery and comfort, these sleek vessels explore the far corners of the globe. But wherever we sail, we take a little bit of our homeland with us. If you care to look, you'll find many Norwegian influences on board. Spaces designed to immerse you in the destination and pique your curiosity, along with tributes to Norway's legendary explorers, complete with extensively curated libraries, chronicling the adventures of these brave souls who redefined our view of the world, and made us proud to carry on the Norwegian tradition of exploration. Of course, the original ships of the Viking Age, with their innovative clinker-built hulls, needed representation on board. Look closely and you'll discover elements of this streamlined design throughout our ships. The most significant is the living room, where the bar pays tribute to these Viking ships of long ago. And the chairbacks feature embroidered rosemaling, a type of folk art found on country furniture, as well as the bunad, Norway's national costume. The sweaters worn by some of our staff have a Norwegian connection too. They're knitted deep in the mountains by Dale and are based on a pattern Mamsen knitted for her son, Viking chairman Karine Hagen. Other hints of Norway are sprinkled throughout all our vessels, like this one based on a Viking Age brooch, or the stateroom blankets that feature the Marius pattern, possibly the most popular Norwegian sweater pattern of all time. And in the theatre you'll see the faces of acclaimed Nordic actors. We're especially proud to offer a daily programme highlighting the works of Norwegian master painter Edvard Munch. Known as Munch Moments, the collection is provided through an exclusive arrangement with the Munch Museum in Oslo, where we also offer our guests privileged access when in Norway. A more in-depth look at Norwegian history is found in our Viking Heritage Corner. Learn more about Viking adventurers on distant shores and what life was like for those who remained at home. It's the most comprehensive study of Norse culture you'll find at sea. In the Explorer's Lounge, you're greeted by more iconic images from the Viking Age, spread across 2 decks. Stocked with abundant resources, this uncrowded setting is the perfect spot to delve into Norwegian history. But the Explorer's Lounge is also home to a part of Norway found nowhere else. It's called Mamsen's, a deli named for my beloved grandmother, serving some of her favourite treats and mine. Here you can sample traditional Norwegian waffles with gjetost, the brown goat cheese prepared just the way Mamsen did. The dishware is one of a kind too, an exact reproduction of a pattern resurrected just for Viking. The design my father used as a child at home while enjoying his Mamsen's waffles. Another significant piece of Norwegian history is found in our stairwells, where the walls are graced with excerpts from the Bayeux tapestry, a priceless embroidered cloth from the 11th century. It's nearly 230 feet long and depicts the events surrounding the Norman conquest of England. On the opposing stairwell walls, another treasure. Helleristninger, detailed reproductions of ancient rock art, similar to the more than 6,000 carvings in the Alta region of northern Norway. In the Live Nordic Spa, we embrace fire, ice, and natural elements, as we share Nordic traditions that have been passed on from generation to generation. Each treatment designed to soothe the body, comfort the mind, and relax the soul. Including a bathing ritual that dates to the Viking Age. Based on the Russian banya, it contrasts the heat of the sauna with a thoroughly invigorating period in the cold of either our snow room or under a revitalizing cascade of chilled water. For Scandinavians, a close connection to nature is an inspiring and essential part of everyday life. Out on deck, our ships reflect that philosophy. The spaces are tranquil, and the Aquavit Infinity Pool is designed to surround you with the lands you're sailing through. When it's time to dine, specialties from the regions you're exploring are plentiful. But Norwegian favorites were not forgotten, as we collaborated with our executive chef to develop a selection of authentic choices from our homeland. The inspiration for one of the most beautiful spaces on our ships came from Oslo, specifically the Vigeland Sculpture Park and its collection of remarkable wrought iron gates. Forged on site by sculptor Gustav Vigeland in the 1920s. On board, our gates feature key Viking destinations from around the globe, while providing a distinctive, memorable entrance to the iconic Winter Garden. Inside, the soaring wood sculpture represents Yggdrasil, the mythical Norse tree of life. The ravens are also from Norse mythology. Known as Hugin and Munin, they served the Norse god Odin, flying around the world, then returning back home, landing on Odin's shoulders, whispering secrets of what they learned abroad into his ears. The Winter Garden also has distinctive art, but it's just one of many spots on board to study the creativity of Norwegian artists. There are more than 700 pieces in all on every one of our ocean ships, in a diverse range of styles and mediums. It's the largest collection of Norwegian art at sea. Of course, the most essential Nordic influence on our ships is the Scandinavian nautical staff. They carry on our centuries-old passion for exploration and discovery, a love for the sea that extends back to the Viking Age. The ships of Viking offer an unparalleled window into the spirit and character of Norway and its people, a heritage we are very proud of, and one we hope you also will enjoy. It's been said, experiences are food for the mind, but it is books that nourish the soul, inspiring the spirit and delighting the imagination.
For me, there's nothing more refreshing than opening a book for the first time. It sends you to places you never expected, really allows you to deepen your understanding of the world.
There is perhaps nothing more powerful than a good book. So when it came time to create libraries for Viking, we sought the expertise of London's Heywood Hill, one of the most influential booksellers in the world.
Heywood Hill is a small independent bookshop in London, and it was established in 1936. by a man called George Heywood Hill. He was a very passionate bookseller, and he really put the shop on the map.
Heywood Hill holds the distinction of being a royal warrant holder, which recognises those who provide goods and services to Her Majesty the Queen, His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, and His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. It is Heywood Hill's long-standing reputation for intriguing, insightful book selections that appealed to Viking.
We create libraries for people. They're usually for individuals, and it's usually around some passion in their lives.
So before a single book was chosen, hundreds of hours were spent on board to better understand the unique, inquisitive character of the Viking guests.
They are an incredibly eclectic, interesting group of people. Our customers are the same. That group of people who travel the world, they have a very broad outlook, and they are curious, inquisitive, people who wanted to discover the countries, but also to be stimulated intellectually, wanting to explore in a meaningful way. This is exactly the sort of people who come into our shop all the time.
Our ships often have subject-specific libraries, like legendary explorers or art history. And of course, there's a robust collection of books tailored to the regions you're sailing through.
Other areas there are devoted to the sort of things that you want to read when you're on vacation. Novels, novellas, short stories, diaries, and then lots of visually interesting books, art books, photography, things that we think will enhance people's stay on the ship.
Every Viking vessel sails with an extraordinarily diverse collection of books, each one hand-selected to pique the curiosity of our guests.
The whole ethos of our business is personalisation, but to make a good selection of books for somewhere like a ship, you need to have the person at the top really appreciating what the purpose of books really is.
It's part of our commitment to share the world in a way no one else can.
It's wonderful to think of our books that we've chosen, individually chosen, on board Viking vessels, sailing all over the world and giving pleasure to people all over the world as they travel and explore the world. That really gives us all a bit of a thrill, and we hope that the books we've chosen for them will really enhance their stay on board.
At Viking, we recognise that sometimes a tiny thing, like the right book, can change everything about a destination.
This exactly fits with our passion for introducing people to great books.
Viking is committed to the idea of destination-driven learning, and the Resident Historian program offers many opportunities for our guests to really learn and explore and delve into the concept of the place. There's nothing like it in terms of the passion and the excitement that comes with sharing experiences. This is what I love. There are two aspects to the Resident Historian program. On the one hand, we have iconic lectures to provide a context for learning, thinking about, and anticipating the commentary from our local guides once we reach the port, and then be able to learn more from him or her on one of those excursions. We include aspects of the architecture, of the painting or sculpture or music, what it is that was so important in that chapter of history that was coming to life, perhaps for the very first time in Western civilization. But we also offer what we call round tables. These are smaller sessions that return one to a university setting with a discussion section. Guests who are keenly interested in a more minute or a specialist subject about the area that we're visiting. So that discussion section format is a little bit more intimate, breaks down some of the barriers of our large Star Theatre audience, and allows us to also learn from one another. The resident historian also addresses various aspects of world history. So it's not just the ancient history, but also thinking about the people of the medieval periods and even up to the contemporary concerns. A resident historian may deal with the history of thousands of years ago, but as well the important and significant aspects of history in our lifetimes. Our resident historians are drawn from a wide variety of different facets of the field of history. All of them have either had teaching or lecturing experience and might have expertise in areas of military history, maritime history, perhaps art history or cultural history, music history, even Arctic exploration history, and they become part of a Viking faculty. What they bring to the enrichment program is of a specialist nature, but they're able to share their enthusiasm about what it is about their aspect and approach to history, why it's important and why it's significant for our guests. The resident historian is also on board for the duration of the itinerary, not only attending the other lectures, attending and participating in different excursions up and in the ports, but also dining with our guests and around, available to field questions and to further discussions that may have been brought up from an aspect of an iconic lecture or perhaps one of those roundtable discussions. The opportunity to have that interface, that one-on-one learning with a resident historian. This is something that Viking prides itself on making very important, accessibility to the resident historians in so many different places aboard the ship. There's also plans for the resident historian to lead a group that would go in further depth, privileged access to learn about a site with the resident historian, to understand the nature of a museum, of an archaeological site, of some aspect of the contemporary culture that could be brought to life by having more time in depth spent with a knowledgeable expert. The resident historian is the guide at your side. For adult learning, there's nothing like it. History pervades a Viking ship, and we're very proud of that.
Join us again here on Viking.TV as we open more doors around the world on our quest to explore the planet's most fascinating cultures and delightful traditions.